Hello and welcome to the 11th annual Accessibility Awareness Days event. I'm Anthony Gomez, Accessibility Advisor and Assistant Technologist in Student Accessibility Services at Windsor, and the moderator for this week's event. I'm so glad that you could join us. I'd like to offer a land acknowledgement before we begin. University of Windsor is located on the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, which include the Ojibwa, Odawa, and Potawatomi. We respect the long-standing relationships with First Nations peoples in this place and in the 100-mile Windsor-Essex Peninsula and the Straits, Les Détroits of Detroit. This is the first of three short virtual workshops that will be held on Tuesday, March 5th, 12th and 19th from 11:30 till noon. And our last event is scheduled in person on Tuesday, March 26th for a film screening in partnership with the Turtle Island Aboriginal Education Center. Details are on the Array website, and we will drop a link into the chat today. At the end of the presentation, there will be time for a short Q&A. Please type your questions in the Q&A box, and we will address them at the end. If you require closed captioning, look for the three dots in the menu bar in Teams. Click on it to open a drop-down menu and select Language and Speech, and then select Turn on Live Captions. This week's topic is Student Changemakers. Today we will be hearing from two University of Windsor students as they share their stories about the steps that they took to make changes and create a world that is more accessible, inclusive, and welcoming. The first student is Logan Gillingham, an undergraduate student in the Visual Arts and Built Environment program, and the second student is Femi Soluade, an undergraduate student in political science. Logan, if you can get us started.
Hi everyone, my name is Logan Gillingham. I'm a fourth year student in the Visual Arts and the Built Environment program. Just a quick little description of myself. So I'm here in the architecture office at the University of Windsor Armories. I'm a female, I have my glasses on, and I have a buzzed haircut. So yeah, we'll get started on my presentation and I'll share with you what I work on. So. Okay, is it visible to everybody?
Yes.
Perfect, okay. So just on the first slide, I have a picture of a building that I designed back in third year on the basis of accessibility. And it reads Accessibility and the Built Environment. So today, that's what I'm going to be talking to you about. My passion in my career in life is accessibility for people with disabilities, but also for all people of every race, culture, social standing, everybody, everywhere. So a little introduction about me. I just have my photo there. I'm, like I said, a fourth year student in the BFA Visual Arts and the Built Environment program, which, if you do not know, it's a dual degree program between the University of Windsor and the University of Detroit Mercy. I'm graduating this semester and moving on to another school, hopefully in the fall. I'm originally from Kitchener, Ontario, which is where my journey in accessibility really started. Like I said, I focus on accessibility and architecture, but I will also be talking about my campaigns that I worked on for social accessibility for all people. And then lastly, I like to mention that I'm a sledge, field, and ice hockey player. Growing up, I played ice and field hockey, and then after a severe hip injury, played sledge hockey and have since been doing so. So for this presentation, I'm just going to walk you through my journey with accessibility. So here on the left side, I have a picture of myself playing sledge hockey, which, if you do not know, it's a sport for people with physical impairments. You sit, so stand-up hockey, you have the hockey skate blades under your butt, and you have two hockey sticks with little picks on the end, and you use those to skate, almost like rowing. So this injury that I sustained was in 2017, and that's when I started playing sledge hockey right away, honestly, because hockey is a very big part of my life, and I wanted to continue my sport. On the right side, you'll see a photo of two different sledge hockey teams kind of all piled in, smiling big at the camera. This was 2018. This was after my first season of sledge hockey. I decided I really wanted to bring awareness to the sport and para sports in general. So I started off with a sledge hockey event where we had my high school hockey team learn to play sledge hockey and compete in a tournament against my team. We had about, I think, 200 students come out and watch the game. And that was really cool. And that kind of spiraled into my creating of a nonprofit. So now on this slide, the bottom left image is the logo for my nonprofit that I ran through high school. Began in about 2017, 2018. I don't really know the exact dates, I would say. And it ran until 2021. We had a team of over 40 students working on it throughout high schools in Kitchener-Waterloo, which is the photo in the top right. And this program really grew to just so many different accessibility campaigns, whether it was YouTube videos, work with the podcast. There's some other things I'll touch on in a little bit more. And then the top left, it's an image of a bunch of students. There's about 30 of us high school students there. With my project idea, I was able to work in Parliament and talk to senators and different members of Parliament about the project and about the need for accessibility awareness in society. So on this slide, which is 2020, I have first on the left a little event poster. So the premise of my project was really to teach people to play parasports alongside people who have disabilities and play parasports so that we can have a one-on-one experience of just how strong athletes who play parasports are. So we had this Learn to Play Sledge Hockey event in my community back home in Kitchener. We had, I think it was over 300 people attend. We had a panel of parasport Olympic athletes or Paralympic athletes come out and talk about their work and their sports. And also we raised money to buy a sledge that will permanently be at City Hall in Kitchener at the downtown rink. This is still in the process just because of COVID and everything. In the middle, you'll see a picture. It's a little illustration of 3 boys running, and the middle one has a prosthetic leg. During 2020 and COVID, when times were a little tough to visit and do events, we worked on a children's book surrounding accessibility and parasports. And then on the right picture, you'll see myself and the other co-director of my nonprofit, Lauren, and we were making a podcast there where we would interview parasport athletes. So then, kind of lumping it all together, my experience at Windsor. So I decided to come to Windsor because the program here, like I said, is part-time in Canada, part-time in the US at Detroit Mercy. And I really love the flexibility that gave me to be able to explore accessibility both in Canada and in the United States. So the top left image is an installation I did just last year, 2023. And it's where I talk to people I know who are amputees, and I designed prosthetics to whatever specifications they wanted if they had $1 million and could dream big. And then I created these boards that people in my classes could stand behind, and I projected those prosthetics onto them. And across from them, there was mirrors, and they could kind of wear a prosthetic. And as they were doing that, they would be listening to the stories of the people who would have worn those prosthetics. Just kind of, I love interactive art where people are able to kind of experience the difficulties of societal stigma around disability. In the bottom left corner, there's a picture of a desk. Back in first year, ending in 2021, a team of students from my program competed in the IDEA competition, which is run at the University of Windsor, working on accessibility in the classroom. So we created a desk that was accessible and adaptable for everybody's needs, as well as some new lecture hall remodels for the university. And then bottom right is an image, again, like the building from the first slide. This one's a gymnasium for parasports that I designed back in 2022. Lastly, I would also like to highlight my work with Rick Hansen. This past summer, I did my co-op for my architecture degree with Rick Hansen Foundation and their Accessibility Advisory Committee, and that's where they go into public spaces and commercial buildings and rate the accessibility and provide plans to improve so that their spaces are more inclusive for all people. On this team, I was really fortunate to get to work with some amazing advocates for accessibility and really understand just how detailed accessibility truly is in the world. Obviously, I have some personal experience with accessibility issues, but this is really cool to see it in practice. So here I just have a photo. It's my future goals page of myself and my co-director Lauren speaking at an event back in 2019. This was our call for disability awareness speech. So some future goals I kind of want to touch on quickly. I'm looking to complete my master's in architecture in the fall. Just waiting to hear back from some schools. I actually just got accepted to Yale this past week, so that's really exciting. I do fully believe that architecture is a means to get rid of societal stigmas on disability. Buildings create many, many issues for everyone, whether disabled or not. And if buildings were accessible to all people, everyone could be a lot more included in the world. So another one is opening my nonprofit again. I think this work that I did back in high school was so beautiful and had a lot of impact on people. I still have people reach out to me today. And now that I moved to a different city, it was kind of hard, especially with COVID. So I'd love to reopen it and talk about those topics. So if anyone's ever interested, please reach out. I do have my email for you, Windsor, just at the end. And I would love to talk about potential projects if you have any ideas. Lastly, I guess 2 more points actually. My goal in life kind of is to design or to start an architecture firm for universal design. So there's not really many that specifically focus on that right now, and it's obviously a very big need in the world. So I figure having a firm that specializes in it that anyone can come to get accessibility advisory, that would be amazing. Lastly, I really want to continue engaging in the parasport community. Like I said, I play sledge hockey. I've tried wheelchair basketball, sitting volleyball. There's so many parasports, and I think they're just so amazing, and the community there is just beautiful. So thank you for listening to my talk. I just, again, have the first slide here with the image of one of the buildings I've designed, and my email is there if anyone would ever like to reach out. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Logan. That was amazing, really impressive, and like the energy that you bring into this is so genuine. It's wonderful. We'll have a question, some Q&A for you in a little bit. I'd like to turn things over to Femi for her presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Femi Sholuade, and I go by she, her. I'm an undergrad in the International Relations program. I'm a Black woman with blue and black curly hair. I'm currently seated in a bright lit room, wearing a pink sweater and a black blazer. I'm delighted to be a speaker for this event and to make a positive impact on our university's accessible and inclusive learning environment. Today, I'll share my story regarding my concept of incorporating subtitles into video content, including educational resources, as a powerful tool to dismantle communication obstacles for individuals with auditory disabilities. Imagine a world where every video you watch speaks to you in a language you understand, in a manner that resonates with you. This is the world that subtitles help create. Subtitles are more than just written text of the audio components in a video. They are the bridge that connects the world of sound to the world of silence, the link between different languages, and the tool that makes audiovisual content accessible to all. There are 3 main types of subtitles: standard subtitles, closed captions, and SDH. Standard subtitles, also known as open captions, are embedded in the video and can't be turned on or off. They are the constant companions of the viewer, always there to guide them through the narrative. Then there are closed captions, which can be turned on or off and include relevant background sounds, providing a more immersive experience. Lastly, there are SDH, which means subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. These are a mix of open and closed captions, providing both dialogue and relevant sound descriptions, ensuring no sound goes unnoticed, no dialogue misunderstood. Subtitles are the unsung heroes of accessibility. They assist individuals with hearing impairments, allowing them to enjoy the same content as everyone else. They help non-native language speakers understand content in foreign languages. They come to the rescue of those unable to play audio due to technical issues or quiet environments. And they aid those who find certain accents challenging to understand. However, like all heroes, subtitles too face challenges. AI-generated captions and subtitles often suffer from inaccuracies, synchronization problems with audio, and lack of context due to minimal application of grammar rules. Solutions like auto-generated captions are not always reliable due to their 60 to 70% accuracy rate. The use of sign language interpreters is also not always feasible due to their scarcity in most video content. But every challenge presents an opportunity. The opportunity here is the use of professionally created human subtitles. These subtitles ensure comprehensible audio dialogue in video content for all viewers, regardless of hearing ability or language proficiency. They are an effective solution as they enhance accessibility by ensuring accurate, timely, and contextual representation of audio elements in video content. Professional subtitles increase the accessibility of video and online content for everyone. They provide a seamless and engaging experience for viewers with or without learning disabilities, thereby promoting inclusivity. They are the silent narrators that make every story heard, every voice understood. My fascination with subtitling originated from my extensive reviewing of foreign and English language content, such as Korean dramas and Australian reality shows. I discovered that well-translated and synchronized English subtitles significantly improved my comprehension of foreign content and helped me navigate accent barriers in English content. This resulted in a more engaging and enjoyable viewing experience for me. To improve upon standard AI-generated captions and subtitles, I undertook several years of subtitling courses and recently established an e-commerce business specializing in professional subtitle services for all types of audiovisual productions. My motivations for offering subtitle services include improving accessibility, bridging language gaps, enhancing the viewer experience, and fostering the human connection by reducing misunderstandings caused by ineffective transmission of information. In conclusion, subtitles are more than just a tool for understanding audiovisual content. They are the key to a more inclusive, accessible, and connected world. So the next time you watch a video, remember the silent narrators working behind the scenes, making sure every word, every sound, every emotion is conveyed to you just as the creator intended. Up next is a video of how professional subtitles can enhance the accessibility of a video. The video is an illustration on the importance of the human touch in subtitling. It emphasizes the ability of human subtitlers to understand and convey nuances, cultural references, and emotions that AI might miss. Throughout the video, the advantages of human subtitling over AI are clearly demonstrated, making a compelling case for the value of professional human subtitlers. Please commence the playing of the video.
With an accent.
My accent may be different than yours.
Depending on where I grew up or have lived, I could sound like this. Or I could sound like this. Or I could sound like this.
An accent is a difference in pronunciation.
In fact, I may come from a country in which people speak hundreds of languages, and English is one of our official languages.
Or from a country where we speak English, but pronunciation is different than in your country.
Just because I look and sound like this doesn't mean I'm any more qualified or competent
than someone who looks and sounds like this.
My value is not tied to my accent, and as long as I'm able to communicate effectively, it shouldn't matter what I sound like.
Instead of focusing on my accent and the way I look, assess me based on my skills, competence, and knowledge.
Focusing on what I'm saying instead of how I'm saying it will help ensure that you don't miss brilliance that I bring to the job.
In this demonstration, we will see here that once I turn on the closed captions, they do not meet the standard requirement accuracy guidelines for Canada, which is 99% accuracy. Let's begin.
Listening Academics is a university-wide effort created by students for students to enhance learning and solve associated barriers to information access. My goal is to provide audio-based learning materials through student narration to peers who may have visual and reading comprehension impairments. Students enrolled in courses will be able to narrate their assigned coursework and share these audio files via Leti Library's online platform. peers and future students can then access and benefit from this growing library of alumni recordings. My project expands and introduces the existing concept of audiobooks at the academic level so that students have the options of both visual and oral modes of accessing their coursework.
Thanks so much, Femi.
No problem.
I know you presented to earlier on campus. I caught your session as well, and I know we're working on a transcription solution for students registered with accessibility services. So this is the super relevant and timely, and I appreciate your explaining it today.
Thank you so much.
We're looking at our Q&A. We have time for just one question for yourself and for Logan. Logan, if you're okay, if I can, we can lead up with yours. How would you say your experiences in sport will influence your career path moving forward?
For sure. So when I originally chose to do architecture, it was very open. I just really liked beautiful buildings. And I think being unable to walk for 3 years really changed my perspective, and really tied to sledge hockey. If you've ever been to a hockey rink, you know there's a lot of squishing into rooms and the hallways are very thin and you've got like a hockey bag behind you. I'll imagine that with a wheelchair, and with sleds, it's chaos. So my involvement there, A, opened my eyes to that perspective. B, I have so many connections now with other people with disabilities that have taught me so much about their experience, that now, as I said, I want to design accessible buildings with focus on accessible sportsplexes, because I truly believe that like sports are just such an important thing in society and in personal lives for mental health, physical health, community building. So if public sports spaces are accessible to all people, then all people can enjoy them and find those benefits.
Amazing. I think about the benefits for health and even for self-esteem and for mental health and all of the above. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Femi, I wanted to ask, your transcription plan is ambitious and again timely. What advice would you have for young people who are thinking about taking on something like this and about making a change, but don't necessarily know where and how to begin?
I think young student change makers, what they need to do is educate themselves first on the needs of people with disabilities, because there's different types of disabilities and the challenges they face, and then engage with the community so that they can also gain valuable insights about the kind of projects they can make that will help that community. So I think that's the way to begin and go forward with their projects.
Yeah, I think about, that one of my mentors when I was entering this field, one thing he said stuck with me from decades ago now, and I repeat it in these contexts, nothing about us without us. So when you're connecting with the community, really involving that community and involving yourself in that community, so deep down sort of how what you're doing could benefit or could help others, right?
Exactly.
That's great. I would say we have a few more minutes left. If anyone would like to ask questions through the Q&A in Teams or perhaps in the chat. I don't know if Logan and Femi, if you can see
the chat.
The chat. Logan, I can read the question out loud. Even though we have the AODA and OBC, I could admit I'm not familiar with that acronym. Why do you think so many architects are not as sensitive to accessibility issues?
For sure. Hi, Veronica. Thanks for that question. From my experience, I find that it's not really taught much in school. So we're not really noticed or kind of pushed to look into it and investigate it further. I know for myself, a lot of my knowledge in accessibility in the built environment comes from personal experience. I would also say that the code, like AODA and things like that, there's really not a very widespread understanding of accessibility. It's very high level, minimal things, and I'm sure a lot of people know, but like when people think of general population, people think of, you know, disability, they think person in a wheelchair, which obviously is not the only disability, but the regulations within architecture are quite catered to that. So I think will in the future, hopefully, architecture laws and regulations include more disabilities and more people with disabilities in the planning, spaces can be way more accessible and architects can be better understanding.
Yeah, I think about the move toward that social concept, that social understanding of disability, and away from the medical model where, you know, if I remember again, going way back when I started in this field, the idea of a curb cut benefiting not just an individual with a mobility impairment, but also someone that's pushing a stroller, someone on a bike, someone on, you know, rollerblades, whatever, right? So that rising tide lifts all boats, right? Everyone in society benefits. And also from, you know, information accessibility as well, and captioning, you know. During the pandemic, I was going to say I turn on captions on everything because it helps me with hearing and seeing and understanding too. So yeah, sorry.
I know a lot of people also like they'll call it universal design instead of like accessible design. I usually say accessible design because I think it needs to start with that to get to universal, but really universal design because it does, like you said, benefit every person in one way or another.
Wonderful. I think we are really close on time, Femi. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add just in closing before we sign off.
Oh, I just got a comment from Phoebe. I wanted to thank her so much. She found my presentation inspiring, and I'm so glad to hear that. Like, I was very excited to give this presentation, and I'm glad that you got something valuable from it. I'm very happy about that. You can reach me anytime, you know, like my student email. Just reach out to Sherry, and she'll give you with my student email, and we can go from there.
Same here. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you both for your time today. That's all the time that we have. Please join us again for next week for our Service Animals in Ontario presentation. Same time, 11:30 on March 12th. And don't forget to register. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye,
everyone.